All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yeah. On this beautiful Thursday morning, blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Look, even if you are not religious in any way, I pray you and your family are blessed in multiple ways, as the Bitcoin price right now, guys, as you can see, has made a new all-time high on most exchanges, but not all, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the probabilities of pumping, baby, as the title of the video says, $150,000 Bitcoin next. I mean, that's what the thumbnail says, at least. Man, that thumbnail. Let's take a quick look at it again here. Here it is. Wow, man. Oh, man. That's a good one. That's a great one. I definitely want to click on that one, don't you? All right. Now, as you can see, Bitcoin has blasted to make a new all-time high on most exchanges. All right, we take a look at, for example, WEEX. All right, and you can see that from that all-time high. Whoa, hang on. From that all-time high, we just came up a hair. Just a hair above, just to do a little whoop, just stick it in a little bit, doop, 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 and then bam, to the downside. And the question is, like, why? Why did that happen? When we look at other exchanges, such as Bybit, you know, we didn't even take that high the first time. So what's likely to happen here? Is this it? Triple top? And then Bitcoin's over forever? No, can't be. Can it? We're going to talk about it. Make sure to smash up the likes because, as usual, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away $1,000. $1,000. Got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Dave Che. He says, good morning, Jason. Yo, you're wearing a blue cap today. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, I'm wearing a blue cap and a purple shirt, baby. Look, on this channel, it's either blue shirt and purple cap or purple shirt and blue cap. All right? Now, I don't know if you're from the United States because we don't call these things caps anymore. We used to, back in like the 50s. I don't leave the house without my cap, old chap. But nowadays, we just wear our hats. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Luke Bitwalker. He says, the last big push before a big bear market. You think this is all we got? Shout out to Luke Bitwalker again. He says, let's get ready for the hottest phase in the crypto market. That's what I'm talking about, Luke. Shout out to Lucky Jim Bob. He says, what's up? God bless you, my man. Holding it down with the wrench. Shout out to Byron Yatako. He says, we dump. Walla. Walla, we dump. I don't know. We'll have to see. Shout out to Chartopath. What in the moon, boys, is going on? Shout out to my man, Gato Meowsicle, who's yelling at everybody in the chat. Are you guys all Trump supporters? Are you guys all Trump supporters in the chat? Asked Gato Meowsicle. Well, look, I don't necessarily identify as a Trump supporter. All right, I'm not going to tell you what I identify as. You're going to have to guess based on this picture of me that was taken in college when I was getting my degree in trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. But Donald Trump does support Jason Casper.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Jason Casper. He's the best YouTube trader in the world. He's getting huge. Shout out to the Casper crew.
So take that for what it is, Gato Miato. Shout out to Walks. He says, long on every full moon. Shout out to Hassan. He says, Bitcoin blasts to new all-time highs, baby. Absolutely, Bitcoin blasts. That's a good title. Shout out to Luke Bitwalker. Shout out to The Fish, who says short it. Shout out to No Food, who says long. Shout out to P. Vincino Kalia Robinson. Hope everyone hit big yesterday. 111690 laughed all the way to the bank, baby. That's what's up. Shout out to Getchy, who made $200 with the $100 bonus you got trading from WEEX. Well, don't thank me. Thank WEEX, all right? WEEX is the one giving the deal, all right? WEEX is the one giving the deal, guys. Shout out to WEEX right now. If you sign up to WEEX using my link, you use your email and your phone number, you get $100 just for doing nothing. Then you get the lowest fees, 0.0% limit order. 0.0%. There's a decimal point in front of the zero. 0.02% market order. Very, very cheap. You can market in, market out, and make money. Plus 20% deposit bonus. WEEX, link in the description. Also, guys, don't sleep on Antarctic Exchange. Antarctic exchange, if you use my link, this is exclusive to the Jason Casper link, you will get 0% make your order, 0.015% take your order. Guys, do not sleep on Antarctic exchange. You get paid for using the exchange because the ecosystem is set up where if you're trading on the exchange and providing liquidity, you benefit. It's made by traders for traders. All right? You get WEEX tokens, you get WEEX points. That is going to appreciate in value over time. Additionally, on July 15th, we got some big things happening with Antarctic exchange. All right, this is changing the name of the game when it comes to trading. All right, we also got to give a shout out to BLOFIN. Oh my goodness, it's Jason Short from the exact top. We got to give a shout out to BLOFIN, all right, because they're also offering 20% cash back, 0% limit order, 0.04% market order, and a chance to win all these prizes. I mean, I always like to think about this, how much my life would change if I had a Herman Miller chair. And speaking of Donald Trump supporters, wait a second, that didn't come out right. Speaking of trans, non-carbon, binary, emission, gender studies majors, we always do appreciate when the chairs, the brand is her and man in the same word. Her man. What is it? This is me. I'm a her man right here. Jason Casper used to be a her man before I changed and got into trading, which changed me from a her man into this thing. Depressed, anxious, stuck to the charts, couldn't sleep, too much caffeine. All right. Let's see here. Shout out to Dave Flowers. He says, my wife made homemade everything bagels this morning. So good with creme cheese. Man, I used to love when my wife made bagels back in the day. Back in the day, I used to eat myself a lot of bagels. These days, I don't really eat any. Shout out to my wife. She used to make some nice bagels back in the day. Shout out to Blue Mountain Fire. You are the exit liquidity. Shout out to MN Fresh Start. What about MEXC? MEXC is still great, man. MEXC is still great. But they require KYC these days. All right, I sound like Carl on the moon. Oh my goodness, do you know why I sound like Carl on the moon? Because first of all, Bitcoin's pumping. Second of all, I've been hanging out a lot with Carl on the moon. In fact, me and Carl on the moon have a feature film coming out soon.
Hello, I would like to get a Big Mac meal.
Shout out to Jim Leahy. WEEX, you need to KYC to receive a bonus. Is that true? Alright, well, I guess you need to KYC to receive a $100 bonus, but everything else you don't need to KYC for. So if you want super low fees, sign up with the link, alright? If you want a KYC, then I guess you can get $100, alright? Shout out to Caesar. He says, crazy. I know it's crazy that me and Carl have a movie coming out. What's my short target? To be totally honest with you, my short target is... let's see. Can we see my short target here? I did post. Make sure to follow me, by the way, on Twitter. Alright, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Because, look, you don't want to miss out on my Twitter posts. Seriously, guys. You don't want to... At Jason_Casper. But let's see here. I posted something yesterday about this short. What do you think about this short trade? And we were talking about our targets here, actually. Exodus, he said, see you at 98K. I said more like $98. Trader Geo says $9.80. I'm looking for that 98-cent target right there. And Exodus can't tell if he's being trolled or not. And you know what? I can't tell either. In fact, you know, Jason Casper has gotten to the point in his career where he also doesn't know if he's trolling or if he's being serious. You guys ever get to the point where you don't even know if you're being sarcastic or not? You know, it's just from all the coffee. It happens when you're drinking too much coffee, staying up all night looking at the charts. I mean, look at that face. It's the face of pure exhaustion. Look at that hair. All right? This is just from weeks of no sleeping. You know? Is Jason Casper serious or not? I don't know. Does Jason Casper even know? He doesn't know. Jason Casper is a very complex being, let me tell you. More complex than most know. More complex than even I know. Shout out to Gen X Crypto. He says, do me and Carl from the Moon go to the gym together? What's his bench? Yeah, Carl from the Moon, believe it or not, he's like a Johnny Candido. All right, dude's like mad skinny, but he is so strong. Dude could squat like 650 for reps to death. All right, and Carl from the Moon has such good leverages. He's just built in a way where he can just sink down into the hole, hamstrings and calves touching, and just do a pause squat with like 650 on his back, man. Carl from the Moon is so strong. All right, he could pull a lot of weight too. Sumo deadlift. Dude will sumo deadlift like 750. His bench is a little weak, but he can still put up over 4 plates for reps. All right, Carl from the Moon. You know how he does it? It's just the law of attraction, you know? He just wakes up every morning, says, I can bench press. I can bench press. I am a deadlifter. I can do it. I've already done it. I've already squatted 650 for reps, and boom, just the law of attraction works like that, you know? He just jives with the universe, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, and anyone can do it too, he says too, you know? He told me that. He's like, Jay, anyone can do it. You know? I said, all right, cool, Carl. You know? Cool, man. I'm gonna take your word, bruh. All right. Where's the plunger that gives sound advice? It's right over here. All right. Smells better than ever today, guys. When Bitcoin's at new all-time highs, the plunger smells higher than ever. You know what I'm saying? Things are about to get nutty, says Kane Hurst. Manuel says it's all about the stochastic. Carl can deadlift 5 pounds. So can I. I can also deadlift 5 pounds, and so can you. So can most. Honestly, let's be honest. Let's be honest. All right. Let's see here. We're popping over to our Bitcoin chart, baby. Let's take a look at this. Ooh. Oh, man. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? Tony says, ew, about the plunger. Tony, do you even understand what a fine specimen we have right here? Come on, guys. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right. Well, let's talk about what's happened here. Now, this is quite interesting. All right, this is quite interesting for a number of reasons. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think we're going to see Bitcoin go higher for the following reasons. All right, for the following reasons. First of all, the Bybit USD pair has not made a higher high, and the Bybit USD pair drives the ship. All right, if you didn't know this, the Bybit USDT pair called the bottom. All right, I'll never forget this because I remember I did a collab with Tom Crown back in this day. All right, and we were waiting for the low to be taken back here, back in April. No, I'm sorry, not. We got to go way back here. All right, back on this day in November 2022, we were waiting for this first low to be taken. And I remember I was talking to Tom Crown, babbling on forever. Babble, babble, babble. Jason Casper with his babble, right? And Coinbase and Binance, they all took the low like this and started to get a bounce. And I was like, did I miss it? Because me and Tom Crown were doing a collaboration and I was babbling on to Tom Crown about my financial problems in the bear market. But Bybit did not take the low. Now, a few hours later, when I was in the car driving to the chiropractor, actually my wife was driving. Actually, maybe I was driving because I have been known to drive and trade, honestly. And the cops chase you. Here's the thing. If the cops pull you over because you're trading and driving, first of all, why do they even put the charts in these new cars? It's ridiculous. But if the cops pull you over, you know you can bribe them. Say, hey, cop, check out my P&L. Don't give me a ticket. Don't charge me a manslaughter, and I'll pay you. All right? That'll go over well. Trust me. It'll go over real well. Now, Bybit, it wasn't until Bybit took the low that the bottom was in. Now, likewise, we have seen Bybit be the only exchange that has not taken the high. Now, when we look at Coinbase, what do we see? Now, this is important. Coinbase is important. All right? Because Coinbase is like the exchange. Would you look at this, guys? Would you look at this? Coinbase did take the high, but we just came up $152 higher than the psychological $112,000 level. So remember, whenever you see price hit on Coinbase a number to the exact dollar, like this, $112,000. You guys see that? $112.00. I mean, it's perfect, right? Whenever you see that, it most likely means we're going to come higher. You usually don't reject to the dollar from a psychological level like that, right? So the fact that Bybit hasn't taken the high, and the fact that the first high on Coinbase was the exact 112,000 makes me think we're going to come higher. All right, really makes me think we're going to come higher. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But let's take a look at all these charts here and talk about why I think that's the case. First of all, our monthly time frame. What do we see on the monthly? You know, we have the confirmed green dot from May, and things are still looking good. There's still more room to the upside here. We come to our 2-week time frame. Look at the yellow oscillator on market Cipher B. It's pointing to the upside. Look at the momentum wave on the 2-week time frame. It's pointing to the upside. There's a lot of room here for upside. Let's go to the weekly. We have just confirmed a green dot on the weekly. Look at the money flow. Money flow is getting thicker. We come down to our 2-day. And what do we see? We see an extremely bullish pattern here, which is this. Bottom signal with market Cipher B giving us the beautiful uneven butt cheek pattern. All right, like this. Big and juicy on the left, skinny on the right. Also known as the Sandbag-McFreed uneven bullish man boob pattern. Then we get a big pump, and then we put a continuation pattern right here, a trigger wave, as we come down to test the key support of the area between the Fibonacci golden pocket and 786. All right, so we come down to key fib support. Let's turn off our 382. We come down to key fib support, we get a continuation signal, and money flow is getting thicker and thicker here. All right, I want just to zoom out and look at the money, right? Because what do we want to do? We want to follow the money, right? We want to follow the money. If we just look only at the money on market Cipher B. All right, let's just look at the money only. All right. Let's even turn off that yellow oscillator here. All right, let's just look at the money flow on market Cipher B. This is a very powerful signal here. Okay. We're just gonna take a little. We're just gonna do a little Q&A. All right. What happens when the money flow crosses from the purple into the blue? What happens? Just what happens, right? Throughout the entirety of the bull market, even in, I mean, we didn't even have a cross in the bear market. This is a 2-day time frame, all right? Every time we get that cross, just tell me what happens. We get a big breakout, right? We get a big pump, okay? It's literally happened every single time. All right, the only time that was an anomaly when FTX went down, but if we're on the big time frames here, this little blip is nothing in compared to move up that we got, 89%, right? We had a 6% drop and then an 89% pump, right? Other than that, it's always been like straight up, okay? So here we have one, money flow cross, and we're consolidating, holding support after a bullish sign right here. So what is likely to happen here? In my opinion, it's likely, most likely, that we haven't seen the pump yet, all right? This money flow is what's the opposite of a lagging indicator? It tells the future. All right, the money flow cross tells the future. When we get the money flow cross back here in October 2024, we kind of do nothing for a few weeks, and then boom, right? All of a sudden, we pump. It's the same back here. When we get the money flow cross in November 2023, for a few weeks, we kind of do nothing. And then boom, right? Same here. Back in the bottom of the bear market, we get the money flow cross. We consolidate for quite some time, and then boom. Even in this area, right? September 2021, we get the money flow cross, we consolidate, and then boom, right? So if we're going to follow the pattern of consolidate and then boom with this cross, that means probably we're going to break out, because if we look at the pattern of the bull market, every money flow cross breaks us out of the previous range, right? Like we have these ranges here, we have these highs, the money flow cross breaks us out. We have this range here, we have these highs, we break out literally right on the money flow cross, all right? We have this range over here, these highs, the money flow cross, that's when we break out, all right? And so we would expect the pattern to continue. We have these highs here, money flow cross, boom, we expect the big breakout. Now, in my opinion, this is going to be the last big move to the upside before, the bull market ends, which is also going to open up the door for altcoins pumping like crazy. And we've already seen altcoins pump like crazy. We're going to talk about ETH next because ETH is making some major moves right now. I know people are bearish on Ethereum. All right. But, you know, I have a little different view on Ethereum. I'm not so bearish. Let's put back on our market Cipher B. Make sure to smash the likes because we have 7,000 people watching and only 1 like. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? CM says blah, 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 blah. Well, CM, I guess at least 900 people will listen to me blah, blah, blah. What else can I say, my man? What else can I even say right now? Shout out to Nick Patron. He says, appreciate you. You're a great teacher / communicator. Can you share how you started to trade? If you've already covered that, I can go check it out. God bless you, Nick. How did I start to trade? Oh my goodness. I put my life savings into Bitcoin in the summer of 2016 when it was around $600. I wrote it up all the way to $20,000. I sold a big chunk of it and I was able to buy a property to start homesteading and growing my own food and raising my own animals. With the Lord's help and the Lord's blessing, I was able to do that. And that's how I realized, oh my goodness, you can make money in markets. And then I decided to learn how to trade stocks so I could make money in markets. But then when I found out that crypto trading was a thing, I decided to do that because I already had a lot of capital in crypto and I didn't have a lot of cash. You know what I'm saying? You crypto guys know what I mean. We're broke, baby. We ain't got no money in the bank. But we got crypto, man. Look, we got crypto, baby. All right? We ain't got no money in the bank, but man, we got crypto, right? So that's how it all started. 2018 is when I really started to trade. And then I'd say I wasn't really a proficient trader until around 2020-ish. In that year, all right? Yeah, and by the way, if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to take all those years of learning and distill them down into 18 videos, check out the free course on YouTube, guys. 18-session free course, all right, with your instructor, moi. Right here, all right, walking you through everything you need to know. All right, seriously, everything you need to know. All right. Also, if you want to learn how to grow your chest, check out this video by this dude named Ben Yanes. Never heard of him, but it's recommended. Shout out to the YouTube algorithm. All right. Chest training tip you need to know. You can grow this. Guys, you trying to grow that? Look, just do the cables, baby. It's all about the cables. You trying to grow that? You need some dang cables, man. That's it. Just the cables. All right. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a dump-a-rooney right now. Let's go back now to the low time frames and see what's going on. So I'll be honest, I'm bullish on the high time frame. We're holding above major resistance. Now, let's not forget, all right, to the daily time frame. Refresh. Let's not forget that this is the daily time frame. Yesterday's daily candle was, in my opinion, quite a bullish candle. When we look at this is the range that we're trading. We know that we have done something major, which is this. We got ourselves, this is our value area high, all right? This means, historically speaking, anything above this level is considered to be, this is the most beautiful price action I've ever seen, guys, honestly. This is absolutely gorgeous, man. This is absolutely gorgeous. We have some value area shift coming up on. Okay, this is some new news, guys. Breaking news. 109.83 is our new value area high, which means holding above this level is extremely bullish for more upside. Yesterday's candle close was very nice. Something else that's very nice about this is now we can see that the majority of the volume was right here at 107.5, which means we have really strong bullish market structure. The majority of the volume is well below us. And for right now, as long as we're holding 109.8, we can expect more upside for Bitcoin, because as long as we're not losing this level, this is showing us that the market wants to trade Bitcoin now at higher prices. All right. So if we're going to be able to look for a long trade today, where would we want to look? If we get a pullback, where do we want to look? Well, you know, I'll be honest, as I always try to be. I'll be honest with you. Man, I actually see a really nice place to look for a long, all right? I see a really nice place to look for a long. There's two places you're going to look. The first place you would look, if we start to get a pullback here, is obviously the back test of the support resistance flip. at 109.8. All right, you would look for the price to come to here, try to dip under, and then once it reclaims the level, that in and of itself can be a trigger to enter a long trade with a stop loss below wherever we wick down to. So you come down to here, you see we're getting the bounce from the level. Now you know where your stop loss goes. And where's my next target for Bitcoin? Between 115 and 117. So that's actually a really good risk to reward ratio right there. A 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, where you are seeing an opportunity to buy the back test of this breakout right here. 109.775 support. The second place I'd be interested in longing is going to have to be down here from our local Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786, which is also the point of control of the range and the value area low of yesterday's local range. This also would be a really nice move down, maintaining this higher lows, right? We've got this kind of channel forming here now, right? This is now major support. The majority of the volume is here, which means if we come to test this level, this is really where the market's going to determine, is this fair price for Bitcoin still? Because the point of control simply just means this is the fairest of fair prices. This is where most people bought and most people sold at this exact price, 107.5. That's why it's the highest volume node. Most of the transactions happened here. So basically, the market participants have said, you know, this is a fair price for Bitcoin. If we come back down to this level and we see a fast bounce, that's the market participants telling us, you know what? This is now cheap Bitcoin, baby. This is cheap. I'm going to get in here, baby. You know, we're dipping down to 107. I'm going to get in here because this used to be fair price. But now that we pumped up to 112, I'm going to try to scoop some up, baby. I'm going to try and scoop some up. All right. Those would be the two places I'd actually be mostly interested in a long trade locally. Assuming that we're going to see a breakout to around 116 to 117. And if we do, you know, this is also a really nice trade setup. 6-to-1 risk reward, meaning if you're putting $100 on the trade, you're risking 100 to make 600. All right, it's not bad. Now look, here's the thing. This is something that my grandmother always taught me about trading, because my grandma, believe it or not, she used to trade Bitcoin back in the, I guess her heyday was in the 50s. Really. She was born in the 20s, so yeah, that's really when she was big into trading Bitcoin. They had to do it differently back in the day. The SHA-256 algorithm was all pen and paper. You know? Doesn't this beat sound like some old school Snoop Dogg or something? Or like Dr. Dre. It has that like that early 90s kind of like gangster rap synth. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, I digress. My grandma was trading Bitcoin back in the 50s, right? And she used to tell me, Jason, look, it's really important when you're planning for a trade that you identify the key levels. That way you're prepared and relaxed and you don't have to chase price and you don't have to get wrecked, but you always know exactly where you're looking for your next trade, right? So she would tell me, Jason, I want you to put the boxes on your chart where you are looking for those next positions so that you're not like flopping and groping, getting chopped up, right? But she also used to tell me this, Jason, a level don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek. All right. She, of course, was talking about the uneven butt cheek pattern. The uneven butt cheek pattern is also what's known as a bullish divergence. All right. A bullish divergence. A bullish divergence is when, as the price is getting lower into, let's say, a key area of support, like, for example, back here over the weekend, and on Monday, we saw the Bitcoin price getting lower into that point of control. But when we look at market Cipher B, what do we see? Well, we see the momentum waves getting higher like this, and we see that money flow getting higher like this. All right, this pattern strangely does resemble an uneven butt cheek set, which is why my grandma would say, Jason, a level don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek. In fact, when I used to trade Bitcoin with my grandma, I have such fond memories. She would take me out to the diner, and there was a waitress there named Dolores, and she would come out with our coffee. You know, we used to go out for coffee, and there's something weird about Dolores is she had very uneven gluteus maximi. Now, the problem was, as she would walk the coffee out to the table, it would be spilling all over because it's very hard to walk straight with a cup of coffee. By the way, shout out to MarketCipherTrading.com and Market Cipher and CryptoFace. It's very hard to carry a cup of coffee with uneven glutes, but look at the price action. You see the candles are getting lower, right to the point of control here. And when you see Dolores come out with the coffee, boom, that's where the price gets moved to the upside. So if we're, you know, the question everyone's wondering right now, are we going to see a big pullback or are we going to blast? Well, I think we're going to blast, but if we start to see a big pullback, I look at it as opportunity to get into a long because the trend is still up. So if we come down here, what do? Well, we go to the diner with our grandma and say, hey, grandma, let's go out for some coffee. Now, if Dolores is there, we say, hey, let's take a trade. Take out our smartphones, click long, baby. All right. But if Dolores is out that day, sorry, she's out. It's her day off. All right. No trade, grandma. Let's go back home. And we wait for the next level of support. Now, when you're trading, we have to understand that most of the time, an asset is going to be trading sideways. Right? People are always waiting for that big move, right? But most of the time, things just trade sideways, right? Look at this. Bitcoin's been trading sideways here since May, since literally the beginning of May. And before that, yeah, we had a big move up, but before that big move up, Bitcoin was trading sideways, all right? Now, before that, guess what? Bitcoin was trading sideways. And then, yes, sometimes we have these massive moves, but before that, for over a year, was it over a year or about 8 months, Bitcoin was trading sideways. All right, this is something that everyone needs to really drill into their head because everyone wants that big move, but it's not about the big move. It's about trading the sideways range where you look for longs at the bottom of it and shorts at the top of it. And eventually, one of the trades that you take is going to be the big one. All right, like for example, the long from down here ended up being the big one. We didn't know at the time when we gave the long setup in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. You know, I didn't necessarily know that this trade, which I gave the setup in advance, took the long. I didn't know it was going to be the big one. We're just trading the sideways range. And even here, the long from $105,000, right? Right now, we're coming just to the target. We're just coming to our target. So this is the final target, basically, of the trade. I mean, if you look at the trade, I'm only shooting for $110.8 thousand. Now, this could be a runner, right? Maybe we break out here, and now I'm holding this trade. I've got $200,000 on these Bitcoin longs here, baby. All right? And I'm holding $200,000 all the way up to like 150K maybe, right? But you shouldn't be focused on those big moves. You should be focused on trading the sideways range, all right? So that's why I'm saying, like, we're hoping for the breakout, but at the end of the day, it's still just a sideways range. So if we start to get a pullback and we lose 109.8, then we have to expect 107.5. And then if we lose that, then we have to expect the bottom of the range at 104, right? That's just what you would expect, and that's what you would then wait for. That way you can get the best setup. Because remember, when we're looking at price action like this, what are we really looking at? We're looking at where can I get a good deal? We're looking like, where can I get a good bargain on this? You know what I'm saying? Where can I get a good bargain on this? And so if we're looking at this as fair price zones, right? Right now, as long as Bitcoin's holding above this level, that means the market wants to trade Bitcoin at higher prices. So this is the first place we look to get in at a deal, right? But if we lose this, then we're asking ourselves, okay, well, historically, the market considered this fair price. But because we've broken out, because we're in an uptrend, maybe now the market's going to consider this cheap. So we look for the cheeks, and we look for a bounce before we decide what to do. And if we don't see cheeks or a bounce from there, then, you know, we wait for the next support. That way we're nice and relaxed. We're not chasing price. We're not FOMO. You know, we don't have to worry. I wonder how many people got liquidated on this top, right? Let's check it out. Mic check. Check one. Check two. Check one. How's Mike? Mike is good. Can you guys hear? How's the mic? But no, we need to take a look at the order flow. All right. Let's take a look at the order flow here and see what's been happening. Uh-oh. Whoa. Oh my. Oh my. My oh my. So we have actually primarily most of the trades opening up here have actually been shorts. You can see we have big spikes and shorts coming in. So very interesting stuff. We might actually start to see some bullish CVD divergences. forming here. We're gonna have to wait and see. But right now, there's no like major divergence here. There's no bearish CVD up here. There's no bearish CVD up here right now, honestly, which is a good sign. Yeah, there's maybe you could say there was a little bit of bearish CVD right here, just a little bit of bearish CVD, a little bit of bearish CVD right here. There's a little bit of bearish CVD right here, but from that actual high, there's no bearish CVD. So there's a little bit of bearish CVD forming as we make these lower highs, consolidating around VWAP. But really, I don't consider it like a significant bearish CVD unless we're seeing it come up above that initial high. But we'll have to wait and see how the day progresses, honestly, before we make a decision right now. You never want to be making trading decisions, in my opinion, 30 minutes before New York market open. Now, something else. Did our market open happen? When did we make that high? 15 o'clock. So I guess that was 3 p.m. So New York was still open when we made that high. That's actually good. It's good that New York was open when we made that high. Let's check out ETH now. ETH, guys. Insane. All right, this is insane for ETH. This is insane for ETH. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. You're thinking, Jason, this is a triple top for ETH. Okay? And you might be right. You might, but I'll say this. The daily candle yesterday was very strong, and we have closed above $2,700 on ETH, which is very important. Why is $2,700 such an important level for ETH? Because if we take a look at the volume that traded here in this range, which range am I talking about? Is it this range? Yeah, it's this range here. We take a look at all the volume here. We can see that that is the value area low of the range, which means after losing the fair value zone, right? Now, if we're coming back inside that fair value zone, the chances are highest that we make our way back to the top, which is $4,000, all right? We were flirting with it for a few days here, flirting. Now we've officially once again closed above. And in my opinion, that means we can shoot to the top of this massive symmetrical triangle, which is here on Ethereum. Now, if we're coming to the top of Ethereum, the triangle, then I expect us eventually to hit our $8,500 target, okay? My first target is going to be 5,500 based on Fibonacci extension, and then 8,500. Holding above 2,700 for me is a very, very, very bullish sign. Now, in addition to this, a look at the monthly market Cipher B on ETH. Confirmed green dot, man. We have, once again, I know I say this every day, but we have never seen altcoins look so bullish ever in a bull market where Bitcoin is above the previous cycle all-time high. Never. Never. The momentum is bottomed out in a bull market. Possibly the most obvious and beautiful buy signal ever for ETH, in my opinion. All right? Because we have the juice behind us of the bull run, and we have the oscillator completely bottomed out. The weekly time frame. Money flow is about to cross on the weekly time frame. Look at the money flow. Look at the money flow. Let's go to the Coinbase chart on ETH, okay? Now this is like I said, I've never seen this before. All right, I've never seen this before. Okay, I don't know why now I talk like this, but I've never seen this before. Okay, now let's take a look at the money flow on the weekly. Let's just take a look at the money flow on the weekly. All right, let's mark these crosses. They're rare. They're rare. Oh man, they're rare, baby. They are rare. We only have a few in history. All right. We only have a few in history. What do all these money flow on the weekly crosses have in common? Right? What do they have in common? They literally mark where ETH gets that big move. All right. Now again, this is the weekly time frame. So do we have a drop before a pump? Yes. Yes, we do. We have a 50% dump before a 2,500% pump. All right. Right here as well. We have a 15% drop before a 125% pump. All All right, so we're about to see that money flow cross again. Now remember, we're about to confirm above major support. I'm sorry, major resistance. So it's like we have already come down to the support. In my opinion, we've already got the drop here. We've already got the dump. We came down to bounce from this very key area. This is the value area high of the bear market. We came down to retest that. Once that money flow crosses on the weekly, remember, we've got a monthly green dot. We've never seen this happen in a bull market before. Man, this is, I really think this could be big. I think this could be big. I know a lot of people coming out saying ETH is dead. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to trust the market cipher. All right, the market cipher, it doesn't let me down on the high time frames. It's let me down on the low time frames before. It's rare. When I'm on the 12-minute, the 24-minute, it'll let me down sometimes. It's rare. The 4-hour, very rare to let me down. The weekly, the daily, the monthly, it's accurate, all right? Those high time frames, they take all the noise out. All right? Now, let's go. We're on our weekly. Let's now go to our 2-day. Look at this. We've also got the money flow already crossing on the 2-day. Look at this. We're coming into resistance. 2,700. And look at the 2-day. Look at that money flow cross. Look at this beautiful trigger wave. After the bullish divergences. Right? We had the bullish divergence. We had that nice uneven butt cheek pattern at the bottom there. Except it was 3 cheeks. All right, 3 cheeks. You guys ever seen a tricheekian? You ever seen a tricheekian out there? It's really hard to buy pants if you're a tricheekian. All right, some tricheekians have 3 legs. Other tricheekians have 2 legs and 3 butt cheeks. You know, which sometimes could lead to a condition called where you have 2 buttholes, all right? It's a very strange condition, okay? You even have to have a special toilet for it. Now, but anyway, I don't want to make anyone feel bad who has tricheekius syndrome. But yeah, you know, look at that bullish divergence, clean, tight trigger wave with the money flow cross. Oh man, if we were seeing this on the 4-hour, if we were seeing this on the 12-minute, we would be expecting and happy for a big break. All right. Now let's go down to our low time frames. Let's do some analysis here. Because this, once again, what is Ethereum doing? Just like the Bitcoin, simply just trading in the sideways range. All right, simply just trading in the sideways range. So, just like Bitcoin, what would we do here? If we're going to get a pullback, what would we be looking for? Well, we're going to be pulling our fibs, right? And so the first place I would be quite interested in would be coming back down to 2,500. 2,500 right now, very, very nice support. Got ourselves the golden pocket, the 786, the POC of the range would continue to give us this really nice bullish market structure here, maintaining these higher lows, or maybe even dipping a little bit below these lows just to come down a little bit, right? And then get the bounce. That's going to be a pretty key level. Then, of course, we look for around 2,350. Those would be 2 good areas, in my opinion, in the event of a pullback to get long on ETH. All right, but all things considered, these high time frames to me look extremely bullish. So because the high time frames look bullish, I'd be looking to buy the dip. Buy the dip is what I'm looking for. All right, we've got over 1,000 people in the house. We've only got 350 likes. All right, we've got to give a major super chat shout out to my man Goldie, who says Ethereum update. We're doing it now, man. All right. We've got to give a major shout out to Richie. He says, my wife has the tricheekian syndrome. That's why I married her. Am I weird? No, look, everyone's got different likes and dislikes. You know. Because, you know, look, there's a person out there for everyone. There's a person out there for everyone. Are we streaming in the VIP Discord? Yeah, I guess, yep, there's a VIP live stream going on right now. In the VIP Discord. Cryptionio says dump in August. There's a big dip after the orange line. 30 minutes till New York Open. Major shout out to J-Boy Bullish. He says, what the heck then, alts? Give it some time, my man. You gotta give the alts some time. Can we look at XRP? Show us your longest position. The longest one I'm in right now is only from 84K. The longest one I'm in right now is only from 85,129. I'm only in 2 longs on Bitcoin right now. I'm long from 105, and I'm long from 85. That's it. You know, I've taken other trades, like I took this one here as well, from 100,000 from the setup I gave in the Casper crew. But yeah, other than that, man, I'm only in two longs right now. Guys, if you want to trade on WEEX, they are offering $100 to sign up. Plus, who cares about the $100? You get the lowest fees, period, on centralized exchange. 0% maker, 0.2% taker, plus 20% deposit bonus. The fees alone is an amazing deal. The 20% cash back is okay. The $100 bonus is okay. The fees, that's what's up, all right? Also, got to give a shout out to Antarctic Exchange. Even lower fees than WEEX, all right? This is a decentralized exchange. It's going to change the game. Pretty soon, we're going to be able to trade S&P 500 on here. We're going to be able to trade gold on here with Tether as our margin. We have huge things coming for Antarctic. It's made by traders for traders. If you trade in the exchange, you get paid because you own the exchange. We all own it together. Also, I got to give a shout out to Klein Funding. Guys, Klein Funding right now. Know how to trade? Have no money? Check out this crypto prop firm that runs on Bybit. All right, customized plans here. You get a 25% discount, link in the description. 25% discount coupon code in the description of this video. You could do 100% profit, $70. You can get a $6,000 account, 25% discount on this, all right? In fact, they even have accounts here where you don't have to pass a challenge, an instant funded account, no challenge to pass. 15% discount on these, link in the description. All right, it trades on Bybit, so you don't need to KYC in order to use this. You just create a Bybit account with a VPN, and you can trade using this instant funded account prop firm, all right? 15% discount for like $1,000 or so. You can get a $50,000 instant funded account. It's a pretty good deal, guys, all right? Like I said, this trades on the Bybit interface. They have a deal with Bybit. Bybit, one of the most transparent up and up exchanges out there. Definitely a lot of high trust for Bybit. All right. Also, if you want to join the Casper crew, where we give the trade setups, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. In fact, right now, one of our instructors is doing a VIP New York Open stream, looking for those low time frame entries. All right. Also, guys, if you want to learn how to trade for free, check out the free trading course. All right. 18 sessions on my YouTube channel under playlists. All right. Where I walk you through step-by-step how to trade. All right. And I guess it's a little weird that I was zoomed in on a man's nipple, but I guess that's pretty normal for the Jason Casper YouTube channel anyway, huh? You know? Make sure to check it out, guys. Dre is new. What's a long? A long is like a buy, all right? And a short is like a sell. You know? Is it legit? Is what legit? The free course? Yeah, bro, it's more legit than anything else, man. All right. Shout out to Pedgeman from Sweden. You're bullish on Bitcoin, Ripple, Sui, Stellar, and finally it's going to break out. Thank you for a great show. Yeah, could we check out Cardano? Yeah, absolutely. We could check out Cardano. All right. So, in general, guys, this is my idea with Cardano. All right, it's a little bit of a sloppy chart, but bear with me here. What do we have? We have a giant cup and handle forming. Hang on. Wrong chart. We have a giant cup and handle forming. All right. Not only do we have a giant cup and handle, but we have ourselves a falling wedge, a bullish pattern. We have the low of the bear market with bullish divergences. Let's go to our weekly time frame, even our 2-week time frame. It's very clear here. 2-week time frame at the low. What do we see? What do we see at the low? That's right. We see the good old uneven butt cheek pattern. All right. That shows us a bottom. Then we get a higher high. We make a higher low, back testing key Fibonacci support. And we see a trigger wave happening right here. Continued money flow to the upside. Then we see another higher high. We're making another higher low, back testing fib support again into the value area high retest of this range. All right. Would you look at this? golden pocket 786, and we're about to see another trigger wave form on the 2-week. We're seeing the direction here of the momentum. We're seeing the money flow getting higher over time. It looks to me like we are going to break out of this wedge. And when we do, our first target obviously is $1.21. But once we reclaim $1.21, we're shooting up to the target of our cup and handle is going to be $5. All right, it's going to be $5. So our measured move is a $5 Cardano. From where we're around right now, that is actually going to be 25-to-1 risk-reward ratio. We'll move this under the 786. Still a 20-to-1 risk-reward. And look, I think we could see higher than a $5 Cardano because $5 is only 70% higher than our previous all-time high. I think we could see higher than that. Maybe we could see $7-8, right? But I'd rather be a little bit more conservative. I'd rather expect less and get more than expect more and be disappointed, right? So I definitely have sell orders for Cardano at $5. But that's just me, okay? I do hold a lot of Cardano. I've been in Cardano since 2017, baby. I've been since it was super cheap. All right, I remember hearing about Cardano. Is Klein funding legit? Yeah, Klein funding's legit, bro. It runs on Bybit. All right. Shout out to a beer. When someone says bear with me and they don't even have a bear with them. Ha! You're right. I apologize. Bro, look at ETH on the 12-minute. Should we look at Ethereum on the 12-minute? All right, we'll do it for you, man. Money flow is crossing back to the upside here. Let's see if this holds its support or not. We have about 15 minutes until New York opens. All right, let's check out SUI. Check out SUI. All right, man. Okay. What do I have to say? What do we have to say about this? Well, this is one of the ideas that we had for SUI. Just, I guess, last time we looked at it, earlier this week, we were talking about the fact that we have this triangle. We've come down to the 786. We're seeing money flow thicken on the weekly, and this was a valid long setup on SUI. We looked at this, maybe either yesterday or Tuesday, we took a look at this, okay? It's already playing out. We've got the green dot printing now on the weekly. Trigger wave forming on the weekly. I have to be honest and say that it looks really bullish. The only other long opportunity I would see here, if we don't break out and we get another rejection from the trend line, would be to take out all the liquidity below this trend line, and then this would be a very bullish divergence coming down to $1.60. All right, basically anything below $1.70 would be a major buy zone for SUI, but this could be the big break right now, okay? The reason why I say this could be the big break is the following. We have a trend line forming, right? And then we have a big bullish engulfing candle. We have a back test into key Fibonacci support. And we're seeing the money flow increase on the weekly. Now we're seeing a green dot printing. 3 days left till confirmation. That thing confirms, guys. And I say we're gonna see more upside for sure. All right. But yeah, is it too late to enter this trade here? It really does, in my opinion. It's not too late. It's still almost a 4-to-1 risk reward. It was nicer back the last time we looked at it when it was a 6-to-1 risk reward. So we're losing risk to reward. It's a late entry now. You'd have to have a 24% stop loss. Remember, guys, this is not for leverage trading unless they're on like 2x or 3x. You know, but yeah. Remember, risk management is super important. 25% stop. We're shooting for a 150% pump here. That's just the target of this triangle breakout. We could also obtain a target on SUI by looking at this as a bull flag. And then we have our flagpole here. In that instance, our target would be like $35. Let me just make sure I'm not on log scale. Okay, yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Let's go off log scale for a second here. And let's pull our flagpole from the low. Let's see where we're going to come up to there. Now we're looking at $8.50. All right, yeah. So our technical target of just the triangle alone is $7. And then the target, if we're looking at this as a bull flag, would be $8.50. So let's assume the $8.50 target here. Both of those trades are pretty nice. And obviously, I think we could see much higher than $8.50. I do. But you always want to have conservative targets because we're here to make money, right? And sadly, a lot of people let things pump forever. They never sell, and then that's it. They don't make it. They don't make the money. They just watch the number go up and they watch it go back down, right? So yeah, I think SUI right now looks very bullish. I think a break of this trend line is likely. Whether it happens now or in a little bit later, I think it's likely. Remember, guys, we're seeing the perfect storm for an altcoin season, which is Bitcoin making new all-time highs. Altcoin chart market ciphers looking extremely bullish. And then, you know, the fact that we have the altcoin index telling us, you know, we're about to see a big altcoin pump coming up. Right? We're about to see a big altcoin pump coming up. Ooh. What kind of treadmill do I use? Whatever's cheap on Amazon. I've used different brands. I don't really care. I'm not very particular about it. What will change in our lives if Bitcoin reaches 127 or 147? I don't think anything will change in my life, to be honest with you. Death cross on USDT dominance equals bullish, says Gen X Crypto. That's for sure. Can we look at XRP? Yeah, we could look at XRP. Jasmy, risk to reward looking good. Yeah, Jasmy. I hold quite a bit. Cody, you talking about Carl from the Moon? You're not wearing sandals anymore? Yeah. Hit a freestyle to Ja Rule on Real Instrumental. You know what's funny is I'll get copyright struck, but it could be totally worth it, right? We gotta look at XRP and Jasmy. Alright, so this is how I'm feeling about XRP, guys. This is an old setup that we've been looking at for a while now. Falling wedge. We've taken the liquidity of the low. Alright, swing failure pattern. We've come up to the value area high. Back test the value area low. Golden pocket 786. We're seeing a hidden bullish divergence confirmed on the weekly. We're reclaiming $2.40. In my opinion, we are coming back up to the highs at $3.40. This looks like it is ready to rip. All right, XRP looks like it is ready to rip. The 2-week time frame is printing a green dot above the zero line, nice and tight. Look at the 6-day money flow. XRP looks like it is ready to rip. All right, like we're going to have $5.50 XRP based on our measured move here. It looks like it's ready to rip, man. That's all I can say. It's looking good. And even right now, you know, like we're late to the party if you haven't been subscribed. But even now, the risk to reward is 5 times more. 5 times more reward than risk, which is half of what it would have been back a few days ago when we were looking at XRP, seeing the bounce from our golden pocket. But you know what? It's still a good risk to reward. I'm not telling anybody what to do. No financial advice. I'm not buying XRP now. All right. You know, I have a rule, which is if Bitcoin is above the previous market all-time high, I don't buy altcoins. I haven't been buying anything. All right. I only plan to sell. And I don't hold any XRP either. I'm just going to be totally honest with you guys. I hold ETH, I hold AVAX, I hold Jasmy, I hold Cardano, I hold Chainlink, I hold Solana, I hold Pepe, I hold Doge, I hold Shiba Inu. I hold Polkadot. Like, these are coins that I hold in my altcoin portfolio, but to be totally honest, I don't hold any XRP. I haven't touched XRP since November 2020. So last time, that's not true. I actually longed XRP on, when did I long XRP? It was like 2022. I think it was the winter. Yeah, January 2023. I took a long on XRP from here, but I've closed it out since. I actually have a video of it where I was outside naked chasing a rooster in the dark in the frozen cold. I caught the rooster. And I have a little short clip on YouTube of me holding this like wild rooster at night trading XRP on my dang laptop. What a crazy time that was. XRP is looking pretty dang juicy. Let's check out Jasmy. Okay, so last time we looked at Jasmy, we were basically just pointing out the fact that a sign of strength would be a bounce up above the white line, then a back test into our golden pocket 786. We literally are getting that back test now, okay? So this, we're potentially at a good entry point right now. Let's do some analysis. This is potentially a good entry point here on Jasmy. We came down to our 886, if I remember properly. Yep. From our 886, we made a higher little local market structure change. Come down to our golden pocket 786. Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. Jasmy looks really nice because we're keeping it simple here. All right. We're keeping it simple. We came down to key support, which was the support resistance flip from early 2023. We filled all this imbalance. We've gotten a bounce, and now we're currently making a higher low from key fib support, which means we only need to put our stop loss at -5 cents. Just kidding. I don't know why TradingView does that. Which means this. If we're going to shoot for our 2024 high, it's a 9-to-1 risk reward from where we're currently at right now. All right. If we're going to shoot for, let's say 12 cents, it's a 20-to-1 risk reward from where we're at right now. Let's put on market Cipher and see what else we got. All right. Well, we have bullish divs on the weekly at the low, trigger waves. All right, so the weekly doesn't look too good, to be honest with you. The only good thing I see here is increase of money flow. Let's go down to our 4-day. 4-day doesn't have... 4-day has some local divergence here. It doesn't look as good as I would want to see, to be honest with you. Jasmy does not look as good, nearly as good as some of these other assets. The only thing that I say we have going for it is money flow is increasing here. But nonetheless, I would say this. We have a clear invalidation on the plan, which is we're expecting this white line to hold the support resistance flip, right? As long as we're not losing the white line, it's a valid buy. The risk to reward is good, all right? We come back up to the highs, risk to reward is good. Is it amazing? It's not amazing. If we come up to where it listed on Binance originally, then it's pretty good. It's a 55-to-1 risk reward. And it was back in 2021 where it listed on Binance. It listed at 35 cents, sheesh. But yeah, if Jasmy's gonna pump like crazy, it's a good risk to reward. If we hit the previous 2024 high, it's a decent risk to reward. We have a clear invalidation for it, right? Like, where'd you get out if it starts to dump? We don't want to lose the white line of 0.00851, because that, in my opinion, means this is simply just crap, honestly. Let's be honest. What do I think about pump? Is it going to be listed on Sunday? I'm not sure. Never heard of it. You know? Do I think SHIB will ever get back to all-time highs? I don't know, but I hold SHIB. I hold SHIB. XRP. I'm XRP sober. Look, I've never been into XRP. I'm an old school crypto guy, okay? So you have to understand, old school crypto guys, we kind of lean a little bit to the anarchist side of things, right? We're not a big fan of government, right? Or if we are, very, very small government, like, you know, we're against the central banks and all this. That's why we got into crypto, right? We got into crypto originally because, like, we understood, like, the Federal Reserve and the dollar's literally a Ponzi scheme, and we're like, how can we preserve the purchasing power of our wealth? We've been into gold and silver for years. We find out about Bitcoin. We're like, wow, I could jive with this. You read the white paper, Satoshi, whoever he is, allegedly, even if he's CIA intelligence trying to, like, lure people into the blockchain system, which eventually is going to slave everybody. He seems pretty cool, right? He hates the banks. He's like, let's bypass them, screw them, we can do it ourselves. I'm like, man, that's what I like to hear, baby. Let me get me some of that Bitcoin. All right, so when something like XRP comes around, where they're like friends with the bank, you hate it, right? You're like, heck no, I'm not buying that Ripple. You know, I was never into Ripple. I'm like, I don't like that. I remember my brother was into it. He's like, yeah, man, I've been into this Ripple. I'm like, bro, no offense to my brother, but I remember that. I'm thinking, man, I'm not trying to get none of that, all right? So I have a bad taste in my mouth about Ripple, all right? And when your dang cryptocurrency changes price because the SEC, a piece of the government, is making legislation about whether or not your crypto can be used or whatever. I mean, come on, that's the most uncrypto thing I've ever heard of in my life. All right. So I just can't stand XRP. So that's why I don't hold any, to be totally honest with you. Do I think it could pump? Yes. Am I hypocritical? Yeah, I'm hypocritical. I hold Tether. I hold Chainlink, which the World Economic Forum is super bullish on. Chainlink's going to link all the blockchains together so we can be enslaved. Our bodies will be on the blockchain. They'll inject you with nanotechnology, keeping you on the blockchain. Right? If you go outside your geo perimeter, they'll zap you with your nanotech on the blockchain. Look. But, you know, my old school crypto self from 2016 hates XRP, okay? Just gotta be honest. But let's see. Why is Trump pro-crypto if he's against anything that can devalue the dollar? I mean, do you really want me to answer this question? Because, like, I have weird views on Donald Trump. They're different than most people, okay? We got to give a major shout out to my man, Jaff Crypto. What do I think of SEI? We could take a quick look at SEI. Make sure to smash the likes, by the way. We could take a quick look at SEI. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. So we do have some bullish div on the weekly at this low. We've gotten a reclaim of the previous support resistance flip. We're seeing higher highs and higher lows. We're seeing money flow starting to cross on the weekly. Our 2-day is just gotten a money flow cross after a nice bullish divergence on the bottom here. This is our sideways range, which we're trading right now. All right. So that being said, I'd say a beautiful potential buy on SEI would be to come back down to the local value area low of our range between 17 and 26 cents. That would be a really nice entry. Essentially, we are going to be longing the support of this, right? I know a lot of people consider this a bear flag, but given the bullishness of everything, I'd say this would be a really nice buy on SEI, given all things considered. All right, that nice round to bottom. That is a really nice entry. I'm not saying we're going to come down that low, but if we do, that's a beautiful entry between 17 and 26 cents. Yeah, that would be beautiful, because we also have... Let's go to our 2-day here. All right, our 1-day. Yeah, we could easily do that, honestly. But it looks bullish overall to me. Looks bullish overall to me. The only other thing I would say that would get me into a long here is a reclaim of this POC. So a reclaim of 28 cents like this, and a back test, like holding on this level could be nice. If we start to form a range here, like we start to form a little bit of range here, then you could look for a long, like from the bottom of a bull flag and then pump. Right, so there could be long entries to be had if we consolidate here, or just the breakout and retest of it. But yeah, right now a good entry between 16 and 20. 16 and 20. As a Christian, how do you pay 10% to the church? What do you mean? That's a complex question, my friend. Thank you so much for the super chat. Uncle Sam takes his cut too. Uncle Sam takes his cut. Yeah, not everyone pays Uncle Sam, but you know, some people can. Some people can have the time and the money to get around those rules without going to jail. Shout out to Jesse Destructo. You haven't been on a stream in like 2 months because you moved. Nice, man. That sounds nice to be in a mountain with no power. That's what's up, bro. Sounds awesome. Yeah, shout out to Heath. This is 100% true. If there's no Levitical temple, technically you can't biblically tithe, right? You're supposed to tithe. There's 3 tithes actually, so you're supposed to give more than 10%, probably like 33%. There's 3 tithes, so the Levites can live doing the temple service without having to have normal jobs, right? But yeah, I mean, I would say in the context of there being no Levitical temple, no Levitical priesthood operating on the earth right now, yeah, you're supposed to give freely from the heart out of love, for sure. And if you want to give 10% to your local church, by all means, praise God if you're supporting the work that a local church is doing. But yeah, it's not necessarily a biblical principle to give 10% to your church. That's like a modern principle that churches want you to believe in because, well, they want your money. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It says also in the New Testament that if you're a minister of the gospel, you should be supported. Because let me tell you something. Being a pastor is like being a trader. All right, it's a 24/7 job. When someone's in the hospital, when someone dies, when someone's depressed, when someone's anxious, when someone's got drama, marriage problems, kid problems, guess who they're going to call? The pastor, all right? So it's a full-time 24/7 thing, and I believe 100% that if somebody is a pastor and a minister just means servant. If they're a servant, they should be supported for that work financially, all right? But the 10% rule, in my opinion, is not necessarily biblical, all right? Am I long or short? I'm a little bit of both, honestly. Look, if you want to tithe on your crypto, let's say you want to tithe on your crypto earnings. For example, there's a certain percent of my crypto earnings that I give, all right? If it's Bitcoin, just calculate the amount of Bitcoin, right? Let's say you made 1 Bitcoin. If you want to tithe 10%, just get 0.1% Bitcoin, right? If it's money, dollars that you're giving, Tether, then just do 10%. All right, hopefully whoever you're sending it to can take the crypto. If they can't, and you're converting your crypto into cash to give it away, then whatever the price of Bitcoin is when you convert it, just give that, right? But come up with a system. Come up with a system for yourself. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But I would say this as well, and I say this from personal experience. You cannot outgive God, all right? You cannot outgive God. I'm just going to say it, all right? I don't care what people think about me or whatever. If you hilariously give, all right? It says God loves a cheerful giver. If you look at the root word of cheerful, it means hilarious. God loves a hilarious giver. If you give in a way which is retarded, where an average person would look at you and say, what a fool. What an idiot. Does he even care about his kid's future? If you give in that way, in the name of Jesus, right? The Lord will bless you in ways you cannot even imagine. Okay? And I just say this from things I've personally experienced in my life over and over and over and over and over again. Alright? You hang on to money, stingy. I don't know what's going to happen to you. If you give retardedly, that's right, I said it, retardedly. In my experience, the Lord will bless you. Financially. This is in my own experience. Alright? Like it says in the book of Malachi, the Italian prophet, that God says, look, if you give me the full tithe, I will bless you so much you won't even know what to do with it. That's true, alright? That's true. McCall says, Jason, read my comment. I'm reading it, bro. Yeah, McCall, I agree with you. This is literally what I just said, right? It's literally what I just said. Why do they call spaghetti LOLOL? I don't know. But I do love me some spaghetti. Yes, I love a spaghetti. I'll be honest, but you know what I love more than spaghetti is the rigatoni. I love the rigatoni, the nice thick noodles with the ridges in it. Enriched of wheat flour with vitamin D, vitamin B. Is it true that I never shower? I shower, I just don't use soap. Alright? I just don't use soap. Ravioli, I do like ravioli, but I don't know, maybe because I've only eaten cheap ravioli in my life. But in general, whenever I've made ravioli, and look, I don't eat wheat, honestly. I don't eat wheat at all. So, but what I'm saying is, it always gets the water inside. Alright, it always gets the water inside, and I don't like to bite into a ravioli and have water come out. Alright. Alright, we gotta give a shout out to WEEX. He wants me to freestyle over this copyright beat. Alright, so we're gonna get a copyright strike. I'm gonna try and freestyle over this Ja Rule instrumental. Alright, let's see if we can do it here. Man, this is a slow beat. I forgot how slow this is. Is this real or is this slowed down? That's normal speed. Wow, that's slow. Don't you guys think that's slow? I'm gonna get hit with the copyright for this. I don't know if I can freestyle over this or not. Alright? I don't know. I'll have to get my Ja Rule voice on. Yeah. 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 Baby girl. I don't think I could do it. Yeah. Yeah, we're trading Bitcoin, baby. Here we go. Not too annoying, baby. Here, listen to my crypto flow. Cause it's your boy, Jay Casper. We're up in the house trading Bitcoin like the master. Trying to sound like Ja Rule. I'm just a white boy, sounding like a fool. Trying to rap to the beat when I'm walking on my feet. Got the treadmill coming out as we go beep, beep. I don't think I could do it, guys. Sorry. It's too slow for me. It's too slow. It's too slow. Shout out to Keith. Love your heart, Jay. Thanks for showing up every day, showing us how fun and wild Jesus is. Well, God bless you, bro. All right, guys. Well, it's been a good stream. I'm going to head out. God bless you all in Jesus' name. And I will be back, Lord willing, mañana. And if not, I'll be back for sure next week. So God bless you guys and peace.